not be surprising if I'm sent to immediate detention today. It's the least ridiculous outcome among others that happened recently in Hong Kong. In the past 3 weeks, a total of 23 activists, journalists, and councillors came under arrest. Every day, we have activists standing in trial, protesters sent to jail. Our case is relatively a mild one. When the movement was still in the early stage, I plead guilty to offense including organizing and taking part in an off-right assembly.
Nathan Law is the former chair of the anti-government organisation Demo Sisto, led by activists Joshua Wong and Agnes Chow, and he joins us now from London. Thanks so much for coming on the programme. You're in London. It must be very hard to see what's happening to your fellow activists, Joshua Wong, Agnes Chow and Ivan Lam. I want to talk to you about your particular case too, but first, why have they pleaded guilty rather than actually fight those charges?
Well, for them, they must have reviewed the evidence on individual cases and to decide that decision with the lawyer. So I guess under the current very unjust legal system, they need these kind of tactics to minimize the harm to them.
Just your reaction overall to what's happening right now?
Well, the government is clearly using these court trials as a legal weapon to prosecute prominent activists and sending a signal to the world that Hong Kong is completely under Chinese authorities' control, and the one country, two system is already that. So they are exercising the judicial system as a very strong signal to the world about political retaliation or even hostage diplomacy in regards to China's behavior.
And Nathan, the sentencing hearing is next Wednesday. Do you see them getting long jail sentences?
For now, the trio are under immediate custody, and they will reappear court next Wednesday. It is expected they may get up to a year-long imprisonment or even more, due to the judge's attitude and the previous sentencing guidelines.
And Nathan, you're in London. How worried are you about your future?
Well, of course, for me, I'm living a life of exile and continue my international advocacy work. I'm already in a wanted list under the national security law. So for me, there will be a long period of time that I'm unable to go back to Hong Kong. So I'll continue to voice for Hong Kong in the situation when it's free from the threat of national security law and continue the democratic movement's international front.
And you met with the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in July in London. What sort of support do you have from the international community?
Well, I think the goal of the international advocacy work would definitely getting the international community to realize the nature of the Chinese authoritarian regime and to form a coalition, form an alliance to implement concrete policies to counter its expansion. We have seen a swift change in terms of China policy in European countries and European Union when they issue a lot of statements and also concrete measures. For example, uplifting the extradition treaty with Hong Kong to respond to the implementation of national security law. I hope this trend continue and Hong Kong and China issue will become a consensus for these countries to really work on policies that could hold them accountable and to defend democratic values.
Nathan Law, thank you so much for speaking to us today on TRT World.